Umoja, Islam. There it is. Hey, G, is there another paper down there? Is there another paper down there? Is there another piece of paper in the printer? Thank you. All right. Excuse me. This is a public service announcement. It is entitled, If Not Black, Then What? A public lesson on Moorish identity and lawful status. Prepared for the Moorish Americans, students of law and truth, and the public at large. In the name of Allah, the Most High, we stand today as Moorish Americans, members of the human family, redeemed from the brands of slavery and restored to our rightful place under the constitutional fold. We have been taught by our holy prophet, Noble Ali, we are not Negroes, Black people, colored folks, Ethiopians, or African Americans. Yet many continue to struggle with what that truly means. The Federal Race and Ethnicity Form, SF 181, let us examine the standard legal classifications. White, a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa. Black or African American, a person having origins in any of the Black racial groups of Africa. Other categories: Native American, Asian, Pacific Islander, etc. None of these are colorable terms. Only two of these are colors in law and society: white and black. So if Prophet Noble Drew Ali taught us that we are not black, then what are we? Moorish science answers this clearly from the 101 Quran questions of Moorish Americans. Question: will you define white? Answer: white means purity. Purity means God, and God means ruler of the land. Is man and God one? Absolutely. So, if white equals purity, and purity equals God, and man equals God, then man equals white in divine, spiritual, and lawful status. What is the meaning of white in law? In law, white is not about skin color. It is about jurisdictional status, being alive in law. It is about nationality and competence, being recognized. It is about purity of legal title, not being marked as property. And it is about rulership, having dominion and inheritance. It reflects your standing as a sovereign, moral, and spiritual being, not a ward or a fiction. Who is defined as white by the government? According to the United States Office of Management and Budget, white means a person having origins in Europe, the Middle East, and North Africa. North Africans equal Moors and Egyptians, Tripolians, Libyans, Algerians. Middle Easterners equal Islamic tribes, Hebraic tribes, the Syriac people, and Berbers, the Amazigh. European equals the Ottoman converts, the Al-Andalusians. That should be key right there for a lot of you Moorish Americans who love to pop up Al-Andalusian and Alhambra. Take note. That is in Europe. Where are we at? And the tribes under Moorish protection. Thus, Moorish Americans are white by origin and by law. Why some Moors reject the term white. They confuse it with white supremacy, which is racial and false. It is falsehood. They do not understand status versus skin. They have been mentally colonized into fear of truth. And they are still under the veil of color of law and psychological slavery. The truth cannot be changed. White means purity. Purity means God. God means ruler of the land. To reject white is to reject your own purity, your own inheritance, your own godhood. Conclusion. If not black, then what? We must accept what is written in both the law books and in the Holy Breath. We are not black. We are not colored. We are not fictional identities. And we're not sub-Saharan, which is a fictional entity. We are Moorish Americans. We are white by status. We are pure by nature. We are rulers by divine birthright. To you Moors out there who don't identify as white, you do not understand that you are a North African. You say that you are a Moor. You say that you are Moroccan. But you do not accept the North African, Morocco's in North Africa, status. And you are in error. For those Moors out there who like to distinguish Moors and then Europeans, or Moors and then Albions, or however this nation dividing happens with you Moors, understand, realize that in Islam, all are equal. Europe is under Islamic rule. Again, Al-Andalusia, Turkey, right? What do you mean by Turkey? Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror, in our 101 questions and answers, he is a European Turk. The question asks, into who did Jesus first reincarnate? And the answer is Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror. This is to express to you all, when you sit back, be still, reflect and consider, that Islam, as a nation of people, as a movement of people, encompasses the entire planet, accepts everyone. It embraces everyone. Everyone is equal in Islam. What is our code as Moorish Americans? When man honors man, he honors Allah. You need a breakdown on that one? Islam. Peace to the noble. For the individual who said that they would like to hear this again, once I get done with this, I will be placing this on the YouTube channel, link in bio. All right? You'll be able to hear it all over again. Or if you send me a DM, I can actually send you a copy of the public service announcement that I've prepared for your review. All right. For you Moorish Americans out there who think that because someone is from Europe, that they cannot be Muslim, that is the foreign Muslim. That is the counterfeit Islam that Noble Drew Ali was telling us to be wary of. Encourage you. I'll be there. Absolutely. Did I write that down? Yeah, I put it on Facebook. But anywho, the Nation of Islam as an organization was founded by a European Turk named Wallace Dodd Ford. We know that he was a Turk because the Nation of Islam uses the Turkish flag upside down. It is upside down because that nation is in distress. They are claiming to be black and at the same time claiming to be Muslim. And to be Muslim is to be white. The parent company of the Nation of Islam is called Allah's Temple #1. In Detroit, Michigan, it was established in 1930. Here's what you need to know. Prior to 1930, in 1929, that very same temple, Allah's Temple #1, was called the Moorish Science Temple of America, Branch Temple #4. This is undeniable, unequivocal evidence that the Nation of Islam has taken the program from the Moorish Science Temple of America and is utilizing it in principle This further shows that there are also European Muslims who are one of your own wearing fezzes and turbans that are willing to sell you back into economic servitude. The foreign doctrine of Islam that treats of separation, of racism, that is the foreign doctrine that is counterfeit. It's counterfeit. And that came from people like Master Farad Muhammad. Master Farad Muhammad, a pale-skinned European Turkish Muslim, was involved in the Moorish Science Temple of America and was kicked out when it was found out by the Prophet that he was teaching foreign doctrine in his movement. This is the divine truth. Those of you out there pressing that division, understand that that's who you're following. You're not following Noble Drew Ali when you're out here with your chest puffed up full of pride, acting like you're better than somebody. Drew Ali said that he's linking us back with the nation. He said nothing about making us higher than anyone else. He's bringing us into equality. In Islam, we only have equality. There is no division in Islam, so much so that to a Muslim, even one who says they are not a Muslim is a Muslim to a Muslim. All are one. I hope this has been helpful. I hope that y'all sit and think about that, possibly change your perspective. Right? This Moorish Divine National Movement was about the uniting of Africa and Eurasia. The standard form 181, and I'm going to show you, just because. The standard form 181 tells you that those of North African descent, Middle Eastern descent, and European descent, these are all Muslim areas, are white. So you can see it. And just to show you what book. This book can be found on the website, link in bio. This is a book full of constitutions, treaties, early Muslim writings, and government forms for your observance and review, okay? If you look at the race and ethnicity form, and you look at white specifically clearly says a person having origins in any of the original peoples of Europe, the Middle East, or North Africa, right? And then in our lessons, particularly in Act 6 of the Divine Constitution and Bylaws, listen to Act 6. With us, all members must proclaim their nationality. And we are teaching our people their nationality and their divine creed, that they may know that they are a part and parcel of this said government, and know that they are not Negroes, colored folks, black people, or Ethiopians, because these names were given to slaves by slaveholders in 1779 and lasted until 1865 during the time of slavery. But this is a new era of time now, and all members must proclaim their free national name to be recognized by the governments in which they live and the nations of the earth. This is the reason why Allah, the great God of the universe, ordained Noble Drew Ali, the prophet, to redeem his people from their sinful ways. The Moorish Americans are the descendants of the ancient Moabites who inhabited the northwestern and southwestern shores of Africa. North Africa. Says so right here. Drew Ali is telling you. And then, hey, just for review, take a moment and look at that, right? How can you be Muslim if you accept the Prophet after Muhammad? He is the seal of the prophets. Because I can, brother. I'm not here to debate you. I'm not an Arab. I honor Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. I recognize that the seal of the prophet means that he was the avatar of the age, meaning that he was the one to usher in. He was the true and divine. It does not mean that he was the end of all, because Allah tells us that all nations receive their prophets. And the word prophet only means professional announcer. It means authorized representative. It doesn't mean any boogie woogie anything. It means president. And so I have a president of my nation who looks like me, who is of the same bloodline heritage as me. As a North African, we have a prophet, just like the Arabs had their prophets, just like the European had Prophet Mehmed the Conqueror. Every nation of people has their leaders. So that is how I can be a Muslim. Honor Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi wa sallam, and still fall in line with the Prophet Noble Drew Ali, and not be outside the bands of Islamism. Okay? I hope that's been helpful. All right. What I was saying for y'all to review, right? If you look at Acts 6, you'll see at the very bottom it says that we are the descendants of North Africans, right? And then we just saw the SF 181 form, right? We don't do none of that boogie woogie around here, man. We don't do none of that scary, we don't do superstitious Islam here. We do Sufi. I am a Sufi first and foremost, whether it be in Islam or otherwise. I deal with tasawwuf, akhi. Ana awliya nabi. Anna Muhammadan abduhu wa rasuluhu. That's me. That's you too. But as long as you play that boogie woogie superstitious stuff, you'll keep thinking that you're not what Allah made you. If we are to follow Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam and his sunnah, it is because we are supposed to become what he was. Allah would not have us follow someone and stay in a perpetual cycle of following and no one taking leadership. What about the Khulafa? What about the Tabi'een, the Tabi'een? These are all people who are successors of Muhammad sallallahu alayhi wa sallam. They're all prophets, bro. All of them. If you're still on this live, whoever that was, let me see. Yeah, I'll bring you up, beloved. We can talk about it. It's been a while since I've been on here. Didn't expect myself to be this long, but for the sake of love, I'll speak to you about it if you come to me. But while we're waiting, one last reference that Noble Drew Ali makes, and there are many, but I'm going to show you this last reference. Drew Ali states, and this is know thy father God, right? Know thyself and thy father God, Allah. It says that Jesus, his life works were in India, which is the Middle East, Europe, and Africa on the SF-181 form. It says that white people are from North Africa, the Middle East, and Europe. Drew Ali says that he came in the same spirit to the same people on this side. He also tells us about the industrious acts of the Muslims of the Northwest and Southwest Africa. Drew Ali keeps telling us we are North Africans. Islam, another time. No problem. Appreciate you. Drew Ali tells us again that he says the reason these lessons have not been known is because the Muslims of India, Egypt, and Palestine, Africa, Asia, and Europe, right, had these secrets and kept them back from the outside world, etc. The last statement that Noble Drew Ali makes, that I'm going to state that he makes, he says the industrious act. The industrious acts of the Muslims of the Northwest and Southwest Africa. These are the Moabites, the Hamathites, the Canaanites, who were driven out of the land of Canaan by Joshua. Joshua is Jesus. And received permission from the pharaohs of Egypt to settle in that portion of Egypt. In later years, they formed themselves kingdoms. These kingdoms are called this day Morocco, Algiers, Tunis, Tripoli, etc. If you get a world map, you will see that all of those are North Africa. Drew Ali keeps telling you that you have the status of a pure and clean, debt-free creditor white Muslim. With all of that, if anyone has any questions or comments, we could take a few moments for that. And if not, this will complete the public service announcement. Is there anything anyone wishes to speak about in regards to what I just spoke about? He said, let that soak in. Islam, absolutely. If you're really studying the movement, you will see that there is a lot of overcast in the movement. Okay? There's a lot of infiltration and misguidance. And Muhammad, what do you mean? To know thyself is absolutely to overcome your lower self. Can you talk more about Noble Drew Ali? I will talk forever about my big brother. What would you like to hear about my big brother? Is that not what you said earlier? What did I say? Because perhaps maybe they cut off whatever you. All I got from you was in Muhammad. Let me see. Let me see if maybe I missed what you said. No, I didn't miss what you. State what you said again. Vaskater, if that is correct. What is it that you're? What is the here? You know what? Let's not do it that way. Let's be men. and then I will talk about Noble Drew Ali.
Peace, brother.
Assalamu alaikum. Peace, peace. How you doing?
I'm doing good. I heard you say something about somebody coming back as the reincarnation of
Yes.
the warrior Muhammad or something like
Yes.
that.
Okay. So according to the Moorish science doctrine, which is a Sufic esoteric doctrine, in our Moorish science lessons, we learn that the first person into whom Jesus reincarnated into is Prophet Muhammad the Conqueror, not Muhammad ibn Abdullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam from Arabia, because he transcended in 632. Drew Ali specifically speaks in these lessons that the Prophet Muhammad that he's referencing overthrew the Byzantine Empire in Rome, being a European himself, in 1453. And so the reference in that is to notify the studious Muslims, the Moors in America, that Islam is not about, as the Nation of Islam and other pseudo-national Muslim movements would perpetuate. The European is not the only white individual, and that Europeans are Muslim.
Okay, thank you.
Most welcome. Wait a moment. All right. All right, and now I will speak. We are I, self, Lord, and Masters. So, Bear, Seven Money, that is a beautiful codex. Most certainly is, right? He said, who next? That is a beautiful codex. However, that is not the science expressed through the Moorish Science Temple of America. That is the science that is expressed through the Freemasonry, which is not true Islamic Freemasonry. That codex is most notably brought back to or attributed to Charles Mosley Bay, who was an open enemy to the movement and the Prophet. He is definitely one of the individuals who have sold the Moors back into slavery, right? So again, it is a beautiful codex. It most certainly is. But I personally, anytime I hear it spoken like that, I immediately recognize that as foreign counterfeit Muslim doctrine. But again, I, self, law, and master. That's great. Drew Ali is teaching us the ism. Ism means doctrine. I, self, master, maybe. But to say I, self, law, and master, that's not, again, it's a beautiful expression, but that is not an expression inherent in this movement. That is another man's plus degrees, is what that is. Keep it a bean with you. We don't use that. All is well. Absolutely. Absolutely. And again, I'm not here to try to badger anybody. I'm really here to set some things right. All right. I am the national leader of the Moorish Violent National Movement. 'Tis I. I'm the first up, and I'm trying to bring everybody else up. This is not a game. All right. I have ascended by virtue, and you two are supposed to do the same. I'm not here to rule over you. I am the steward of the movement. I am one of. Let me put it that way, right? So not to offend anyone. I am one of the stewards of the movement. Absolutely. Absolutely. How can I get my nationality card? All right. So let me show you my nationality card so as not to have any misconception. All right. And while I'm looking for it, I'm going to explain to you briefly the nationality card of the Moorish Science Temple of America. So, Noble Drew Ali was teaching his people, right, how to come back into the proper fold of government. He was teaching them civic structure and how to operate within their community. One of the famous sayings in the movement is that, and from out of Sunday school comes the guiders of the nation, meaning these would be the representatives outside of the temple. So Noble Drew Ali, because of his ecclesiastical jurisdiction, and because it is a business, he was able to issue identity cards relative to those enrolled and employed, either with the Moorish Science Temple of America or any of its branches, right? Because there were all kinds of businesses in the name of the Moorish Science Temple of America. Drew Ali told us that our nationality cards would change in our pockets, meaning that we would not be walking around with the temple cards that he had, because the time would come when we would come out and be the guiders of the nation, right? And be one with our states. This is my nationality card, bro. Noble Drew Ali was telling you to declare your nationality with the state constitutional government in which you live. He literally says it like that. I'm from Pennsylvania. My card says nationality on it. Nationality card. I already received certain permissions, provisions. I'm already aware of some of the exemptions that I benefit with my nationality card. If you wish to get your nationality card, brother or sister, because I'm not sure, get yourself a DS-11 form, fill it out properly, and write yourself up an affidavit explaining your position, right? And then apply for it. And when you receive it, you'll be redeemed with your state. Now, I provide this service to walk you through this process according to Moorish Americans or being a Muslim. I am positive that this applies not only to Muslims, and that if you are not a Muslim, or if you are not particularly a part of the Moorish Science Temple of America, Moorish Divine National Movement, there should be a way for you to do what you do. But I show you, right? But I show you according to our way. And the link is in the bio. It's the website. The tab is economic security. I'm a servant, and the servant is worthy of his hire. This information is free, y'all. I'm not gatekeeping. That's one of the signs of nobility, is that I'm not gatekeeping. I tell you where to go to get it. Where did I go get it? This is where I got it. You can get it to me in print, or you can have me walk with you, right, for a fee. But I'll tell you where to go get it. I'm not here to hold anybody down, right? So again, if you desire assistance with securing your secured party creditor, yes. Principal and equitable owner, yes. Private corporate free enterprise authorized representative identity, yes. Go fuck with your boy, man. Absolutely. And with that, oh, you know what? I did say I was going to talk about Big Brother. So Noble Drew Ali was born Thomas Drew. He was born at 411 West Princess Avenue, Norfolk, Virginia, January 8th, 1886. He hid where he was born, and he hid his parents because he did not wish for the people who at that time were in such a superstitious state of mind. He did not wish for them to make over his land, his home, as a shrine, or to make over his parents like was done to Joseph and Mary. And so he told the Moors that he was born in the state of North Carolina so as to protect his own lineage. No doubt, always. That's what I'm here for, right? Noble Drew Ali worked as a porter. He signed up for civil service. He worked as a preacher. He studied law. He was a professor of law. Back in those days, you didn't have to take the bar exam. There's evidence that himself and Prophet Emil, both being lawmen, men of law. And of course, that's what Noble Drew Ali brought us, was the law, right? So he called himself professor. And another word for professor is prophet, if you check the etymology, right? He studied law and he went into the esoteric arts. So he was learning Rosicrucianism. He was learning the Egyptian mystic schools. He was learning Freemasonry, Shrinerdom. He learned under the tutelage of Abdul Hamid Suleiman, who was the establisher, was the founder of the old Canaanite temple in Newark, New Jersey, that Noble Drew Ali attended. And it was there that the thought of what was to become the Moorish Science Temple of America was founded. So Noble Drew Ali learned a lot of these esoteric and lawful practices, and he recognized that they align, they overlap, they overlay, and that there was a common foundation that they all sit on, which is accountability. Accounting, but accountability. And so he set out to present a pure national organization or a fraternal order to show his people how government, because national trusted administration is government, to show his people how government is run, so that his people could take control of the reins, if you will, and no longer subject themselves to sharecropping. Right? It once was Moorish Holy. Yes, it was once Moorish Holy Temple of Science, and that was the civic organization. And Noble Drew Ali realized that his people, not only were they still stuck in religion, but there was a necessity for religion in order to be, as a mercy, for real. So he incorporated his civic organization, keeping his foundation, as a religious organization with ecclesiastical jurisdiction. And evidence of this is on his filing, which is called the affidavit. It's a affidavit of religious organization. It is printed on the back of his original 101 Quran Questions pamphlet, and it says on the top, "Our authority." Authority means rights, and it means jurisdictions. And if you yourself were to just take a moment and study Freemasonic temples, right, and Shriner temples, how they organize, you will see, like particularly with the Shriners, it'll say something like the Shriners Temple and its jurisdictions. The Masonic Lodge states it is this, that, and its jurisdictions. And so Noble Drew Ali gave us our authority, knowing that one day we would study law and recognize that authority equates to jurisdiction, equates to sovereign authority, meaning free enterprise, private enterprise as a group. And we find this also in the teachings of Marcus Garvey and his national movement, showing that organization is the key of doing your own business honorably with all nations. Noble Drew Ali had begun to get notoriety, so much so that there were people in the movement who desired to be in that position. Right? He gives us the story of old Damocles. He just desired so bad, so much to be the king, now recognizing that sword over his head, which is also a reference to the Shriners when they place their scimitars or their swords on their fez. Moorish Americans are told not to put that sword over their fez or to mark their fez in any manner, so as to remain humble, right? These people who desired to take charge of his movement began spreading what I was speaking about earlier, this foreign doctrine that states that if you are a European or if you are a pale skin, for that matter, that you cannot be a Muslim. And they were also teaching those people who Drew Ali came to teach them that they were not blacks, Negroes, and coloreds. These people were teaching these brothers and sisters that they were blacks, Negroes, and coloreds, or some derivative. If you look at the Nation of Islam and their doctrine, they say we are not Negroes, we are black. And if you hear the ignorance in it, you'll see why I'm making the face. Because the word Negro literally means black. And so you have a group of people who don't even understand that they've been sold out. They're proud to be black when black is not a Muslim quality. Black does not mean you're dark skinned. So Noble Drew Ali, all after establishing the movement, right, in the same way that Jesus established his, and then it fell, and then he restored it in 3 days. Noble Drew Ali made reference to, he knew that his movement was going to fall. He already put it in the air. And he was already telling us that the priesthood is dead, that the temple is within. And Drew Ali said that the third and fourth generations will see the good of my work. He said that they will come into this consciousness about the year 2000. If we take 25 years as a generational cycle, from 1929 to 2000, you have about 3 generations. And now that we're in 2025, this would be the 4th generation. But this is to show that Noble Drew Ali was also expressing that the temple, the brick and mortar temple, will be of no use as long as the people have the holy breath in them. They become the temple. You got a lot of Moorish Americans out here trying to override temples and tell people that they can and can't be a part. The temple's been dead. The temple is back in chapter 10. Go read chapter 10 of the Circles of the Holy Quran and Moorish Science Temple of America. It tells, hold on. I'm telling you to do it when I can do it right now. It's not even a long chapter. So in this chapter, we're going to find out what Noble Drew Ali specifically says about the priesthood. Chapter 10 is called Jesus Spoke on the Unity, listen, of Allah and Man. That's one. To the Hindus. I'm not even going to run all of this down to you. I want to get to, yes. All right, so I'm going to start from 16. A man's ideal is his God, and so as man unfolds, his God unfolds. Man's God today, tomorrow is not God. 17. The nations of the earth see Allah from different points of view, and so he does not seem the same to everyone. He's talking about every state. I see Allah as Pennsylvania. You might see Allah as Tennessee, but we must all see Allah as America. Anywho, that's a whole nother topic, because I get into that too. He says, you Brahmins call him Parabrahm. In Egypt, he is Thoth, and Zeus is his name in Greece. Jehovah is his Hebrew name. But everywhere, he is the causeless cause, the rootless root, from which all things have grown. 20. When men are afraid of Allah and take him for a foe, meaning to be an enemy of the state, They dress up other men in fancy garbs and call them priests. So they're basically going and they're getting lawyers. They're not representing themselves, right? 21, and charge them to restrain the wrath of Allah by prayers, presentments. And when they fail to win his favor by their prayers, to buy him off with sacrifice of animals and birds, because they're selling you out, right? Anyway, listen, 22. When man sees Allah as one with him, as Father Allah, so you become Father Allah, he needs no middleman, no priest to intercede. 23, he goes straight up to him and says, my Father God Allah, and then lays his hand in Allah's own hand, and all is well. So that means that we made an agreement, hand in hand. We don't shake. Muslims don't shake. We palm press. That's what it's telling you. We made an agreement. He says, 24, and this is Allah. You are each one a priest just for yourself, and sacrifice of blood Allah does not want. 25. Just give your life in sacrificial service to all of life, and Allah is pleased. So we find out that we become Allah, and we recognize that we don't need the priests to rule over us, because we are to become priests. Well, what is a priest? A priest is a prophet. It's a professional. What them Israelites say, bring it out. All right. To be a priest is to be a prophet. It's to be the principal. It's to be the chief, the leader, the authorized representative. So we're all supposed to be that in ourselves. And then we're supposed to unify, come together, and move our civilization according to our organized solidarity will. All right? But you have these sheikhs who are priests who are telling you the moment you say you're a prophet, they want to sound off and act all crazy, right? Because they're caught up in that superstitious, right? They want to keep the people down on belief and maybe faith, but never fruition, right? So they worship the idea of Jur Ali instead of worshiping the Allah in themselves. But you are a priest. It says it in your own literature. No man, it tells you that there's no need for any. This is telling you there's no need for another man, right, to ordain you. But if you go to chapter 1, the creation and fall of man, a good portion through, it states, where are we at? There it goes. It says the human seed that came forth from the heart of Allah was full ordained to be the Lord of the plane of soul and the plane of things made manifest. So Allah, the husbandman of everything that is, threw forth this human seed into the soil of soul. It grew apace, and man became a living soul, and he became the Lord of all the kingdoms. So you're already ordained once you accept the ordination. Jur Ali tells us that Muslims are not made, that they are born. This is mystic interpretation. In the Freemasonic orders, a Mason has to be made. You have to be raised up to be upright, meaning that you're coming already as bent over. So you're coming in as a debtor. All right? Masons are made. Muslims are born upright. You're born upright. You're already born the Lord, the most worshipful master. You're already the mastermind. All you have to do in yourself is recognize it and then act on it. And those who know will have no choice but to say Vade Mukum or Adon Mashikumi, whatever the case may be. They have to acknowledge because you're acting in it. Like as I am, I'm acting in this role as of steward. No one told me to do it. Well, Drew Ali told me to do it, but you know, I am your affectionate guide. I will not say leader. You have to accept me as leader, but I am one of you. I'm definitely your protector, and I'm definitely your guide because I protect and guide this salvation, redemption movement. Absolutely. Peace and love. Absolutely. Submit to your highest self. Submit to your white, pure, and clean. Khushu. Your innate nature is natural and principle equity. Nah, I don't worship Ali. See, you're already in the wrong. I'm definitely not one that worships Drew. I'm here to let the people know that they need to stop worshiping Drew and become what Drew became. Worship only the Allah and self. So, no, I don't worship Ali. I am Ali. In that sense, I worship Ali. I don't worship man. I call Drew Ali my brother. And I keep calling him my brother. That's my big brother. Brother. Not my God. Not my ruler. My steward. Not my ruler. I don't worship any man. But Allah. In man. As man. Emmanuel. Fuck out of here with that. I ain't trying to talk crazy to me, man. Don't worship the prophet, worship Allah, man. Absolutely. Absolutely. Our brother man, our equal, who we have raised to sovereign authority. Did y'all ever catch that in chapter 29? Hold on. Because Drew Ali is telling you how the organization runs. He's telling us that we're all equal and that we choose a representative. This is Republican form of government. If you know, this is Article 4, Section 4, Governments, Chapter 29. He tells you it's all in this literature, man. We just got to see it. All right. Listen, Chapter 29. It's called Magistrate and Subject, so it's telling you what it's hitting for. It says, O thou, the favorite of heaven, whom the sons of men, thy equals, have agreed to raise to sovereign power and set as a ruler over themselves. So he's my equal. He's only in the position of stewardship because he's the most qualified. By virtue of him knowing better, he becomes that, which is exactly what's going on with myself. Yeah, gave you now save yourself. He didn't say, he didn't tell you to save everybody in the temple because the only savior is self. I can't save you. I can only show you. I can only lead you to the path of your own salvation through the example. I've already crossed. I've already transmuted. I'm able to cross the boundaries of public and republic at will. I'm already there. I can cross the bounds, meaning I can go into the public and the republic as a professional contractor in honor at will. That's the whole That's the whole transfiguration and the materialization of the body and all of that. That's what it's telling you. It's telling you that you'll be able to operate in public and in private. I appreciate you all for coming. I sincerely do. Real quick. Hold on. All right. Real quick, right? So the civics workbook is on the site. I believe it's $30 plus it's like $12 shipping and handling. Right? But when you grab this civic workbook, you'll see not only how government is run, you'll see that Noble Drew Ali was telling us exactly this to get with your state constitutional government. He wasn't talking none of that sovereign citizen shit. He wasn't talking none of that America's Morocco shit. He wasn't talking none of that we need our own consulate shit. He was saying, I'm coming to link you back with everybody else so that everyone uses the same motherfucking everything. Drew Ali was not out here talking about separation and segregation like a lot of these Moors, dirty Moors, soiled Muslims do. That was never the movement. Time never was when man was not. But I thought, oh boy. All right, man. So everybody who hears me, welcome home. A new era of time is here. We'll put it on the board for you. According to Act 6, this is officially a new era of time. Why do we spell a new A-N-U? Because the Mer, which is the Moor, is the high priest of Anu. And the other reason, this is the DBA. So there is an American Nationals Universal Economic Reform Administration, which is a religious and civic government that has been incorporated into the United States. I have the EIN for it. And we also have the university, which is a new thing. So we have the university run. This stands for, and I just told you what it stands for, but this is American Nationals Universal Economic Reform Administration. We deal with trust in the state administration here. This is what we're teaching, because this is what we're doing. This is not what we're talking about. We're not pieces of wood pointing. We're not selling you packages. We're not burdening you. We're giving you everything it takes to save yourself, and we're leading by example. Receipts. We have receipts. So this is a new era of time now. This is the fulfillment of the rising of the temple in man through the Moorish Divine National Movement. We had to get out of what they're doing now because they refuse to sit themselves down. And so just like in a constitutional republic, when the government is not working to the benefit of the people have not only the right but the duty to institute their own governments. So we're sitting the old Moors down to the back. We're moving with this now. This is the Moorish Science Temple of America is not the movement. It is the vessel. The Moorish Divine National Movement is everlasting. This is the temple. This is you. And this is for every American national. Drew Ali said that this is the sole foundation for Asiatics to be recognized as American citizens for their earthly salvation. That's what he told you. Get with the movement. Get with the movement, right? Get your passport, because your passport's a national ID. Learn how to do private enterprise, private contracting, organize, be business, learn accounting. If you learn nothing else, learn accounting first. Learn accounting, learn the basics of accounting, and the rest of this becomes breakfast. As always, I'm your brother man, come to show you the way to your own self-governance, to your own godhood, to your own salvation. Emmanuel. Islam.